Professional cringe creator and social media influencer.
I wanted to put something kind of serious to show that I do content creation, but at the same time, not make it too serious. Hence why I added the cringe to it. Back then, there was no short form videos, no TikTok, no IG Reels. You couldn't doom scroll back then. So I'd say that I get a huge spike in followers during the late 2023 when I decided to make that shift to doing short form videos. That's when I started seeing a lot of change, and that's when I think I reached 10K. It's like a Russian roulette where there are 7 chicken tenders and one of them is mega hot. You're gonna die kind of hot if no one wants to watch ads. So I try to make it more just about the experience and the food and create more of an evergreen effect to it so that at any point if someone watches the video either today or 5 months from now, it'd still be a My mother was in the hospital, and unfortunately during that summer of 2020 she passed away. That's probably why I didn't have as much drive during that time.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
Other people.
Hello guys, today we have Darius D. Davidson, professional cringe creator and social media influencer. How are you, Darius?
I'm good. How are you?
So this title, I'm good as well. Thank you for asking. This title, professional cringe creator. So can you explain what does that mean?
Honestly, I just put that there recently in my bio. I wanted to put something kind of serious to show that I do content creation, but at the same time, not make it too serious. Hence why I added the cringe to it. Just because I think myself, I do a lot of cringy stuff and I don't always want to be taken seriously for it, especially because I do a lot of skits and stuff too. So honestly, I just added that in maybe a week ago. So that hasn't always been there, that title.
Oh, wow. We caught you right as you've added that in.
Yeah, pretty much.
But so tell me, we spoke off camera. You started content creation from the year of 2019, which has been 6 years now.
Yeah, that's a long time. Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It's been quite the journey so far.
Yeah. So can you walk us through maybe the first year, second year? How has that unfolded up until this year? And like maybe the follower count, maybe the struggles. Like, just give us the full story of that.
So I started in 2019. Back then, there was no short form videos, no TikTok, no IG Reels. Wow, this is a scary time to think about. We couldn't doom scroll back then. So as a local Vancouver foodie, we relied mainly on photos. We did a lot of photography or maybe even phone photos. But I started out with a couple of other Vancouver foodie creators and we just took pictures of our food and we decided to post it on our Instagram. And we just kept doing that to the point where restaurants and businesses would notice and they would reach out to us and invite us to try their food in exchange for a post. And so that got us thinking, like, there is a market for this. There is a niche for this. And that uncovered a whole entirely different path that we never thought we could take. We never thought we'd meet all these other local Vancouver foodies. And I didn't realize that there had been people doing this for a long time already. You have some OGs who have been doing it since 2015. So even though it kind of felt like we were getting into the game a little late, it still seemed really fun just to be able to, one, explore all the different restaurants, and two, be invited to try the food and create a post and essentially help the business grow. And in turn, the more that we posted, the more that we were growing too. So I think 2019, to summarize it, was a lot of exploration and figuring out what I could do in this space. And also I did upgrade from like a phone camera to a DSLR, taking better photos for the restaurant and for myself. And I'd say Instagram, it was more supportive time. A lot of people were encouraging each other. It was pretty community based. And I think I finished that year maybe 5K followers or so. Not much. Not much, no.
To 2019, the photo era. I kind of want to linger on this. So how did you start initially? So you're like, hey, I love maybe eating food and trying new spots. How about I just take a picture and post on my socials and maybe from there it will be a domino effect and this will happen? Or did you know you're going to get into this, or what was the initial step?
I had no idea I was going to get into this, honestly. The initial step was a couple of buddies and we used to always post our food on our Snapchat story to then we decided, oh, why don't we just do it on IG story? To then we decided, why don't we just make a food account, a separate food account, and then just post it onto there. And these would be simple posts. They would be from our camera roll, just from our dinner. And we'd be kind of descriptive with it. We'd talk about the price, what we thought of it. And I think just doing that enough, creating that our own UGC, our own experiences and sharing that, I think doing that enough did get word of for some restaurants. It started small though, of course. It started with like a bubble tea restaurant reaching out to you and being like, hey, we'll give you 2 bubble tea in exchange for 1 review on your page. And we thought, oh, that's cool. We didn't know that there was a bartering system that we could tap into and do more of. So I think starting small with those, like doing the smaller collabs such as the bubble teas and whatnot, eventually word of mouth will ruminate amongst other restaurants and businesses. And when they see that you're posting a lot and creating content for all sorts of restaurants of all different types, whether it be bubble tea or fine dining or casual dining, comfort eats, then a lot more collabs will come out and reach out to you. But also, I think at the same time, I eventually had to get over the barrier of wanting to ask for the collab myself, which I didn't do initially because when you start out small as a creator, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with it and a lot of fear when it comes to reaching out or just doing anything because you're small. Like who's gonna care about a smaller creator? So it does get kind of scary. It did get kind of scary to message businesses and be like, hey, do you want to collaborate on something? I can create a post for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this was 2019. Can you touch on maybe this sort of 10 years or this 5 years from 2020 to 2025? How has been the evolution from you starting from 5,000 to 40,000 plus followers that you're currently at? And also maybe reaching out to more businesses and the collaborations that you mentioned.
Yeah. I think when I think about it, like the 2020 to 2023 span of content creation, it feels kind of like a blur. And I'm sure it's like that for most people because of, everyone knows what happened during the 2020 to 2023. It was a weird time for all of us, especially for businesses too, because not many people were going out and that hurt a lot of restaurants. And so restaurants themselves had to switch operations and find out different means to be able to grow their businesses. And because it affected restaurants, that affected us Vancouver foodies. And in turn, a lot of them, they switched to doing takeout. And we would still go out and promote for them, just promoting, say, like takeout or promoting even home businesses. There was a lot of people who were doing bakery in their own kitchen and trying to sell that online. That was a thing for a while. But I think it did kind of hinder the progress a bit for me because I just kept it with my photography. I didn't really change much. I think what I changed over the years from 2020 to 2023 was just being more consistent, was just posting a lot more because 2019, I'd say I would post infrequently. But then over time, I gradually got better at editing. I gradually got better at just being able to complete my photo shoots in a much more efficient time. So that wouldn't take long. The editing wouldn't take long. And then me trying to come up with a caption, sometimes that takes a while, but I would get better at it each time. And eventually it would reach the point where I would post every day, which is what I do now. But I wouldn't say that my follower count skyrocketed over the years. I think when I look back, I think there's a lot more potential because that was when short form emerged in 2020, 2021. And I did not capitalize on that. I should have because everyone was on their phones back then. It was a new platform. Everyone was scrolling on videos, on short form videos. There's a huge resurgence or there was a huge boost to creators during that time who did short form video. And I kind of regret it that I didn't do it so much at that time and that I stayed doing photography. I think I even tried posting photos on TikTok, but those wouldn't do well because they're just photos. But it wasn't until maybe late 2023 that I decided, okay, I need to actually do videos. I need to actually post videos to stay relevant, to make better content. And also at that time, I decided I wanted to incorporate more of myself into it. I wanted to focus on not just making the food the main focus, but myself as the brand. And then the food as a bonus kind of thing. So I'd say that I get a huge spike in followers during the late 2023 when I decided to make that shift to doing short form videos. That's when I started seeing a lot of change. And then that's when I think I reached 10K. So it took a while. It took a while actually during those couple years.
Hmm. And then 10K by, let's say, early 2024. And now we're towards the 3/4 mark of 2025. I mean, this sort of time period has been successful for you for $30,000.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. But I think what the shift in what I wanted to do really changed and helped my growth a lot. And just posting daily, I decided to always just post daily. And because I had a strategy down, I had a pattern that I wanted to follow. I knew exactly what I wanted to do for my voiceovers or for my editing. And so I had a style that I just kept going at and just kept rinse and repeating for each video. And it was working. And it helped, yeah, it helped elevate my follower growth. I think just at the late 2023, this is probably after I came back from Japan and I was like well rested. But that's when I thought I needed more drive because 2021 to 2022, I didn't have that drive. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just spending a lot of time with my partner at the time, spending a lot of time with my girlfriend at the time. But I think at the same time, 2020 was it was a lot. It was pretty hard for me, mainly because, and I think this would set back most people in content creation. But a lot of people during that time was worried about COVID, for example. But 2020, when I was just doing content, just trying to have fun, enjoy my summer. At the same time, my mother was in the hospital, and unfortunately, during that summer of 2020, she passed away. And I think that set me back quite a bit. But that's probably why I didn't have as much drive during that time because I was just focused on trying to distract myself and heal. But eventually, I shifted my thinking into deciding that to distract myself further and to do better for myself, I needed to do more content. I needed to do more content creation and see where this path goes. So then 2023, that's when I'd say I finally had the strength or courage to do more and to incorporate myself into my videos, include my voice, make it about me, and just do more from that point.
Sorry to hear, bro.
Yeah, it's all good. Cancer sucks. You know, we hate cancer here. Should be illegal.
Yeah, 100%. But I just want to mention, like, in your short form content, is there a certain structure that you follow? Is there various hooks that you incorporate? You're like, hey, these have worked the best, call to actions, anything like that?
There's a lot of in-depth detail that I incorporate when it comes to my editing process. And I think I attribute that to a lot of hours I spent doom scrolling, researching, studying hooks, seeing what other hooks people used, studying the algorithm. But there is a structure that I follow. I don't follow it for every video, but it depends on what the video is. I think first and foremost, what I changed throughout the years was, let's say back then in the photography era of foodie content creation, a lot of times people would post a photo of the food and they'll talk about a promo that the restaurant has. It'd be very ad-like. And you would still see that in videos nowadays too, where there are some creators who will make a video and there'll be text on screen talking about an August promotion that will last till the end of the month, etc. You can get, 2-for-1 deal. But I didn't want to make it about that because that seems too ad-like and no one wants to watch ads. So I try to make it more just about the experience and the food and create more of an evergreen effect to it so that at any point, if someone watches the video either today or 5 months from now, it'd still be applicable, which is what I wanted. And I think what I would do in my videos a lot would have myself in the beginning of the video and have a nice spread of food. Maybe just to, show off all the food, but just to have my face in it for at least 1 second or so that people will know that it's a video by me. And then throughout the rest of the video, I'll try to not have my face in it because I don't have a lethal face card or anything. So I don't want to show myself too much in it because no one wants to see me. People want to see the food. But I'll still have maybe 1 second or so just so that they know it's a Darius type of video. I mean, I'm sure they can tell based on the voice and stuff too. But that would be kind of the structure I'd follow for each of my videos. It'd be a shot of me and then maybe an action shot of food and then a bunch of other shots of food. And then also I would incorporate my friends or whoever I'm eating with too, because I would say I have a lot of attractive friends. So I like to include them in the video too for that, I don't know, attraction, I guess.
Right. Um. Okay. This might be a hard question here, but what are your top 5 favorite food spots in Vancouver?
Oh man. When someone just asks me what's my favorite or like give me one recommendation, I always draw a blank. I think because I want to ask questions like, okay, what kind of cuisine you like, etc. But if you're asking me my top 5 favorite, ooh, okay, let's see. I like Raisu. Raisu's good. Japanese restaurant. New Fuji, similar to Raisu, connected, Japanese restaurant. I like Download Chicken. I love fried chicken. And I love their spicy Nashville chicken. It's very good. 2 more. Let's see. I like Horan Ramen. I think it's better than Dombo. People shouldn't be lining up for Dombo when you can go to Horan Ramen. And then let me think of one like more local, more mom and pop. Mm. See, the thing is, I go to a lot of restaurants, but in my own time, I don't go in my own time to truly experience. So a lot of the time, I go for kind of business, and because there's so many that I kind of gets lost a bit in what I actually like the most. I'm gonna say Wasuda Pasta in Richmond for the Japanese Italian style pasta. That one's good. I love Japanese food and I love pasta and Italian food, so it's the best of both worlds.
Boom. I think out of the 5 you mentioned, I've only personally been to Downlow.
Download, yeah.
Damn, that chicken's good. Yeah, you're right.
They have a roulette right now that I want to try. It's like a Russian roulette where there are 7 chicken tenders and one of them is mega hot. Like you're gonna die kind of hot. And that they give you, whoever gets that one out of your friends, they'll give you milk. It's included. But it's like a fun activity they have where, yeah, you get 7 friends. There's 7 chicken tenders. You all take a bite of it at the same time. And one of them is the unlucky one. So I want to try that soon.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually the hot tenders, you can tell that they're spicy because
Yeah.
their coating is like red or black and that certain way. So I'm interested to see how they've kind of battled that problem.
I mean, I think they do show that though in their tenders. A lot of times it's like very Americanized where you can tell it's really hot because of all the redness on it. But a lot of like even like Korean fried chicken places, you can't really tell how hot it is because of the sauce. You know, it doesn't look that hot or that scary, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. You know, from the like people that eat food on camera and create short form, there's this guy that stands out to me, 𝐤𝐫𝐻.
𝐕𝐻𝐻.
Have you? I like sometimes when I'm scrolling, he just pops up, and there's a lot more like United States based.
Mhm.
Vancouver, I haven't seen much, but yeah, he eats in his car. I think in his Tesla, something like that. And what's the difference between like eating in your car and eating in a restaurant? Because some of these guys that eat in their car, they're getting so many views and so much traction. Is it like the way they structure their videos? What do you think about that?
I often think about this too a lot because I will follow a couple of mukbangers and see what they do and what works and what doesn't work for them. But that does seem to be a common thing in the States where there are not many people who go to a restaurant and talk about it or talk about a promo. I think that type would be the typical food influencer, the one that, yeah, goes around reviews restaurants. They do exist. I do see videos of them, but more predominantly, there'd be the mukbanger who will get McDonald's or Raising Kings, Wingstop, just a load of fried chicken, and they'll eat it in the car, and they'll have a lot of close-up shots of the food. It'll be very saucy and everything, and I think that just appeals to people more because America is just huge as a place. I never realized how big America is, or actually, I never realized how small Vancouver is, and there's probably a reason why we don't have anybody doing mukbangs in the car here because we don't have anything really nice to show in a car. And that's why we eat in restaurants a lot. We don't. It's easier for people to just showcase the restaurant, and I think oftentimes they don't want to be on camera, so they'll just do pan. They'll like take their camera and just pan across the restaurant, do close-ups of the food, maybe a shot of them eating it or stuff, and then they'll add a voiceover afterwards. It's just a lot easier for them. But to do the actual mukbang and talk on camera and do like the ASMR chewing sounds, no one does that here, and I think a big thing is because maybe Vancouver's scared. Vancouver is scared to do that because as everyone says, Vancouver's cold. It's hard to make friends. And at the same time, it's hard to put yourself out there because they don't want their friends or anyone in the city to judge them for it. And that's a big hurdle that a lot of local creators, whether it be for food or any other niche in Vancouver, that's a hurdle that I find a lot of them have because putting yourself out there is one of the biggest hurdles you have to overcome for content creation. And to put your face and your voice in a video with the fear of being perceived, it takes a lot of courage to do that. But at the same time, I have seen like maybe one guy. There's one guy on TikTok that eats in his car, and his style does kind of remind me of the American mukbangers. Yo, shout out to Shabs on TikTok. He's at 5K now, but he basically does like what the American mukbangers do. Although we don't have the food to show for it because we don't got chilies, we don't got the long mozzarella sticks, we don't have 𝐕𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 where you can dip the chicken tenders into the sauce to show for the camera. It's stuff like that that people will love watching, that they watch at like 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. and they get hungry for it. I think just being able to have access to that food helps a lot. The fact that also it's widely known worldwide. Nobody's going to care about the download chicken in Vancouver because Vancouver is just too small compared to the Wingstop in the States that's recognized all over in the States. And they just have more money. They have more money to do brand deals. So they get paid a lot to just eat that kind of food or sponsor it. But you never see them talk about the food in an ad-like way. Heck, like some of them don't even talk about the food. They just eat and that's it. And already that's the sponsorship. That's like the brand placement. I notice a lot too in the States where mukbangers will have partnerships or collabs with like paid collabs, and they'll be eating their food, and then all of a sudden they're drinking a can of soda, and that can of soda is the paid partnership, but they don't include a paid partnership tag. All they do is just have like a hashtag, the name of the brand, hashtag partners and the brand. But that's the thing I notice a lot in the States too, is that they're more subtle about their ads. They just want it to be shown in the video. They don't want you to be like, oh, you can get this deal. You can find it in these shelves across Canada or the States. Whereas in Canada and Vancouver, you'll see a lot of restaurants, local businesses, they want you to include ad-like details into the video, which I don't like. It's everyone has started doing it, and we can't really escape from that. We can't make it subtle. That's why I like to just show the food, or sometimes even not talk about the food at all. Just share a story and just have the food in the video, because it's still providing advertisement. And if people want to know more about it, like, they can look it up themselves. Sorry, I can go a lot on this topic because it's what I like to research too every day. And I've been trying to do some mukbangs too in the car, but I tried it on my main channel. I don't think the reception's good, so I'm trying it on a separate channel where it's just mukbangs only, because personally, I don't like watching people eat, and I don't think people would want to see me eat because, I don't know, it gets in my beard and stuff. You have a beard too, so you probably understand that, when we eat saucy foods, it gets really messy. And I find like a lot of mukbangers, they look pretty good. Like, they're all really good looking. So I think that plays a part too.
I see. Yes, I think the subtleness that you mentioned is so important. Like, just be subtle and don't show it in your face. Oh, this is advertising with this brand, and I definitely agree with that. But I'm just wondering, like, what kind of research goes to your brain and your head on a weekly basis? Is it based on the KPIs of the last week? You maybe review those, and you're like, hey, this week I have to focus on X, Y, Z to see the same growth happening, or even an accelerate in the growth of followers, impressions, or how do you go about managing that?
Honestly, it's a bit of a disorganized mess when it comes to managing that, because I think about all the things that I want to do, and it kind of jumbles all over the place, because I'll look at the short form, but then I also want to think about my long form, creating more long form. I have a backlog of long form videos that I wanted to do for my YouTube. And then I think about, oh, maybe this would be a good day to do streaming. Let's do some IRL streaming. Let's create clips for that. Let's create clips for these other channels. So it gets kind of messy, but I think right now the path that I'm following is capitalizing more on what works, 100%. If a video popped off, then I want to keep doing that concept until it doesn't work. And what I find has always worked lately, that has nothing to do with food reviews or anything, would be hot pot. And every time I post videos about me and my friends trying to guess how much our hot pot is, whether it be at Big Way Hot Pot or other pay by weight spots, those videos always do well, no matter what. and I don't get why. But because they do well, I keep doing it. I'm like, okay, let's just keep doing it then. If it works, it works. But it's just weird that people want to actually watch the video and see how much the hot pot is. I'm like, okay, if you guys want to watch that, sure. Like those videos would do 100 times better than any regular food review video, because at the same time, normally you don't see people do daily short form content on a restaurant, especially a niche restaurant in a niche city, because I would consider Vancouver a niche small city. So nobody's gonna care about this, I don't know, random Burmese restaurant that I post about in Vancouver, compared to if it was like a Burmese restaurant in the States. People are more likely to care about it. Maybe, depending on how well known it is. But I think just overall in Canada itself, we don't have a large reach. And I don't think that our videos, this is my conspiracy theory, I don't think our videos get pushed out enough because Canada just has no money. There's no point in pushing out our videos to other people, to clients. There's no like ad money attached to it. So it's kind of lame in that sense. But I still do the short form videos because for the restaurants, I need that UGC content. There are restaurants that I want to, help collaborate with, um, whether it be through just barter, whether it be through meal comp or through paid partnership, then I would want to do that too. But I've been a lot pickier with who I work with because I don't want to always be doing random collabs, such as, let's say if someone invites me for bubble tea. I think I'm well beyond doing a bubble tea collab because one, it'd just be like two bubble teas, and that's something that I was already receiving even when I was at 1K followers. And so I'm a lot pickier of what I show now because I don't want to just always put out really simple stuff, or I don't want to put out any basic or slop content. I want to actually put quality content or stuff that I think will actually go viral.
Mm-hmm. Um, as the evolution goes, you started with 2 free bubble teas. And then I just want to get the gauge of like, the progress and the stepping stones that you've had up until maybe your biggest deal that you've had so far.
Yeah, I'd say it varies. It kind of goes up and down. There'll be times where there's some restaurants, they're very generous and, bless their hearts for providing the service and all the food that they have. There are a lot of restaurants who want to showcase everything. So they'll ask you to bring a group. I'll bring maybe other creators, some friends. We'll have a big group together, and it's essentially just pick whatever you want on the menu, so whatever you want to feature. Or sometimes they'll include items that they want to be shot as well, to be featured in a video. So those are really nice. I mean, if they give a lot of food though, if it's just me and one other person, sometimes it's too much because we can't eat that much food, and I feel bad every time if we have to take it out. And at times it feels kind of unnatural because when you see a creator with so much food in front of them, obviously they're not going to be eating it all for themselves. But usually I do bring a group with me to help it. But on camera, it's not always shown that I have other people with me. And so I try to go for a more natural and appropriate amount of food that people would more likely relate to and get on on a normal restaurant outing. But yeah, it varies. Sometimes restaurants, they give you a lot. They're generous. Other times, some restaurants will give you a budget. There'll be a credit. No matter how big your following is, whether you're at 5K, 10K, 40K, you get the same credit no matter what, which it's fair, I guess. I kind of don't like that because I feel like the compensation should be scaled to a certain degree, especially because follower account does matter. Sure, a 5K account could create a 10 million view video, and a 40K account could create like a 5K view video, vice versa. Like there are some small creators that make really good content and they get a lot of views. They're just not getting follows. And the other way around too. There are a lot of top creators out there, even in the Vancouver scene, for foodies and lifestylers that have a lot of followers, but they don't have any views on their videos because it could be just bad engagement overall, or a lot of them do bot their followers, which is kind of lame. Or they do engagement pods, which is kind of lame too. But yeah, bless those restaurants that provide what they can to showcase whatever. Bless all restaurants, for just even taking the time to provide a credit. But at the same time, throughout the years, I'm a lot pickier now. So normally back then I would do the 2 bubble teas, no problem. I like bubble tea, or I used to like it a lot. 2 bubble teas for 1 post, no problem. But if I was to get that kind of message now, I'd be a lot pickier and I would seek for a paid partnership kind of deal. Because at the end of the day, I am working, I'm editing, I'm creating content for them, for their business, to generate sales. And something like 2 bubble teas would not be enough. And also for some businesses who don't want to pay and they just offer food only, at the end of the day too, the food is required either way for me to create the content. To them, they think it's fine that free food in exchange for content is okay, but I need the food either way to film the content. So it's kind of a tricky slope, because what if I don't want to eat the food? What if I don't like the food? I still have to make the content. That's why it is good for businesses to pay, because we are working, but I get that it's hard in Vancouver because there just isn't a lot of money to go around. A lot of businesses are struggling, and I understand that too. But so I would still do free collabs just because there are businesses that I want to support. And I love to support local. And also it helps me too, because it helps me stay afloat and always have content that I can keep posting to stay relevant and keep myself, stay relevant.
So you mentioned a good point, which was the contrast between followers and viewerships. So from what you've mentioned, viewership is actually more important than followers. Is that true?
Yes, I would say so. Because what a lot of businesses, I think, what a lot of businesses fail to understand is that it's not always about follower count. Just because they have X amount of followers does not equal guaranteed success on the video that they want to procure from them. There are a lot of smaller UGC creators that can create fantastic works of content. It's just that so happens maybe they got started, maybe they don't have the follower count. Again, it depends on the niche. It depends on what the business or client is looking for. But there are a lot of gems to be found amongst small creators, and I'd say there's a lot of slop to be found amongst older creators or people who have been making content for a long time. They've been stuck at the same high number for a long time. It could be a client is looking for work. They'll see a 100K follower account. They're like, oh, 100K followers. They must make good content. But then they're not checking the trajectory. Yeah.
Trajectory.
The trajectory. Oh my God, I can't talk. They're not looking at the history behind the account. They don't realize that the account itself has been at 100K, lingering at that amount for a couple years already. They just see the number in front of them. They're like, okay, let's just go with that. But then they're not also checking the views too. They're not checking and seeing that the account has 5K views per video, which is odd amount for someone who has 100K. You would expect a lot more, but no, sometimes people don't really look in depth to that. They just see the initial number. That's why follower count does matter to some extent, but to those that are trying to find true value, they'll look beyond that.
Mm-hmm. The internet never sleeps, and there's constant pressure to feed the content machine. A recent 2025 survey found 5 in 10 creators have experienced burnout from their job, and 37% have even considered quitting due to burnout. Have you ever hit that ball?
I think I've hit burnout a couple of times, and I think some burnout to a certain degree is necessary in order to reevaluate what you want to do and just overall recover from the fatigue of content creation, from the fatigue of life. I guess I see it more as a break, not really burnout, because I don't know. I want to keep posting. I love posting. I'm holding myself back from posting 3 times a day because I think the algorithm hates that, and it splits the views across all my videos. So now I only do 1 time a day, even though I want to do more. But I don't think I get burnout. I just think I need a break at times. And so maybe I'll take like a day or 2 and then I'll get back to posting a lot, because I think more about the reward. I think more about how fun it is to up those numbers. To me, it's like a game. And at games, you don't feel burned out from a game you love playing. You just love playing it and you just keep playing it. So yeah, burnout doesn't really affect me that much.
I definitely agree. If you gamify your job, business, your life, like it just makes it so much more fun.
Yeah.
But I actually want to get at what has been maybe some fun stories, maybe some surprising stories here with this restaurant, some unexpected results there. What can you share there?
Surprising or fun stories? The fun stories always come with kind of the media parties. So there are some businesses or marketing companies that will host media parties for all the influencers. Those are always really fun. You get to connect and network with all these other creators. sort of, because I say sort of because they kind of keep to themselves, which is lame because I'm all about collaboration. I love incorporating other people into my videos, whether they be a small creator, big creator, or just a friend. I love having new faces in my videos, but I find a lot of other creators don't do that. They just keep to themselves. They will only film videos with their like boyfriend or girlfriend, yada yada. But I think those media parties are fun. I wouldn't say that they're surprising. I just like to drink some cocktails and meet people and have a good time with some music. But surprising wise, not really. I guess what always surprises me is how many people recognize me on a day-to-day basis. I think every day I go out, there's always someone that will say hi to me or ask to take a picture with me, which is crazy because I'm not that big of a creator. But I think because I've created so much localized content and I keep popping up on their For You page, that it definitely has created a name for myself wherever I go, people will recognize me and they will like stop to say hi. So I think that's been a lot of fun and that's been surprising to me how much that keeps popping up.
That's cool, actually. I have yet to be recognized, but soon, inshallah.
Yeah.
Do you have any content schedule? How do you manage making sure that you post one a day at least? And yeah, how do you go about kind of controlling that?
Some people, they'll have everything scheduled on one day throughout the week. I don't do that. Maybe I should. I just kind of think like, okay, I gotta post something today. What should I post? Depending on if I'm out and about throughout the day, I might just post something really simple, like a skit, something cringy or whatever that I could just get out there to go towards my post contribution. Where other days, on the weekdays especially, when I have a lot more time to dedicate an hour or so to editing and drafting up a script for my voiceover and doing the voiceover, then I post more quality stuff, more food review stuff then. Usually around, I don't know, because I wanted to post 3 times a day, so I was testing different times. Kind of like 12 p.m., kind of like 6 p.m. But lately I've been doing 10 p.m. Some videos have just it's just been working pretty well for me. Maybe because everyone's looking at their phones at that time at 10 p.m. local. So it's been working out and trying to do like one video around that time. And then doing 12 a.m. for YouTube. And then TikTok is just whenever. I think TikTok, it doesn't matter. At least as long as the videos maybe after 3 p.m., TikTok will always do well no matter what time, I think. As long as the video is good, then the views will be good.
Mm-hmm. What kind of other maybe tips or tricks you've learned over your 6-year journey about the algorithms of these 3 platforms that you're mostly engaged with?
Mm, there are a lot of myths out there for sure when it comes to Instagram or TikTok. And I've done a lot of deep dives into what works and what doesn't work, trying to time and gamify the algorithm, to which extent I think you can't really do. It's always changing no matter what. Sure, you can implement all these little tips and tricks, but at times you'll see that other creators, they don't even use those. They don't even use the tips and tricks that you looked up. They don't even, let's say I'll look up something like, oh, should I be sharing my reel to Facebook automatically or should I be manually posting it? Should I be using the recommend to Facebook option for reels? I'll think about that stuff. And those are the algorithm stuff that I'll be looking at and trying to deep dive and figure out. But at the end of the day, I think my tip would be it doesn't matter. As long as the content is good, as long as you're being authentic to yourself, then no matter what you push out, it'll be good. But I think staying within a certain niche, it will help a lot and let other people know that this is the kind of content you make. Which I say that, but it's kind of hard for me too because I try to make myself the niche. And sometimes there'll be some videos where, uh, I mean, I don't stray too far off from what I do. I'm not like inserting a random video game video where I'm playing a game. That would probably be on a separate channel. But yeah, just staying within your niche and maybe ever so slowly branching out if you're trying to do different things, especially if it's about you. But if it's not about you, then yeah, make a separate channel for that.
What challenges you?
Hmm. I'd say I'm a pretty confident person, but maybe I hide it well. But what challenges me is just that fear of being perceived and just the fear of people saying things and judging me for not really knowing me. That challenges me at times when it comes to just life and posting videos. Mm, I don't I realize this now. I think I realized this year or maybe last year, but I actually don't do a good job of expressing myself with my face. There'll be times where I'm listening to our friends in a group and they have no idea what I'm thinking because I have a blank face. And I think one of my friends asked me like, "Oh, I can't tell if you're judging us or something." I was like, "No, I'm not judging. I'm just listening." I think I do a bad job of showing how I'm feeling properly on my face, and it has caused a lot of misunderstandings or people to think that I'm portraying a certain attitude when I'm not. And so my biggest challenge would be to overcome that. I think it's especially harder to, again, in Vancouver where everyone is so judgy. So at times when I'm feeling kind of down or if I'm thinking about it too much, I might be a lot more hesitant when it comes to posting the video. Or then I'll take a break and think like, oh, maybe I don't want to post it. I don't want people to judge me for this. And after a while of just taking some time to myself, then I'll recover. I'll bounce back and then I'll post a lot more. But there are times where I'll be thinking about that, and that'll be the main challenge for me when it comes to posting consistently. Or yeah,
Why do you think a city like Vancouver has such a bad rep in the dating scene, like people being cold to each other, not like a warm environment and a friendly, sort of cooperative city? Why do you think that is? Why does a city just incorporate that at its core? And everyone knows that pretty much.
I always wonder: is it really just Vancouver, or is it just Canadian cities in general, or do other cities in the states mimic this too? Because there are a lot of similarities between, say, Vancouver and LA when it comes to the people and the culture. But I think why it's so much more prevalent here in Vancouver is that a lot of us grew up here. A lot of us grew up here. We have our own friend groups, our own cliques, and we've changed them over times. And because we have an influx of new people that come in to the city, I think the people that live here all their life, they don't know how to handle that, or they don't know how to reciprocate that. And so they're not as welcoming to new people in joining a friend group. They're not gonna you'd be at a club, you'd be dancing with your friends, but some random guy comes in, tries to chime in and have fun. You're more likely not gonna reciprocate that because everyone always seems to have a like they already judge the person just based on the moment they walked into the circle without really getting to know them. I think we just lack a lot of empathy in that regard, that we don't try to understand people and that we jump to conclusions right away. And I think why we do that, natural upbringing, a lot of people that do that are only the ones that have lived here the whole life. I don't think I've met someone who hasn't lived here, who has come from all sorts of walks of life, from another country. All those people are really chill, and they often wonder like, why are we so judgy? It's only the ones that have been born here, born and raised, that I guess appear woke, or they make judgmental comments and they'll look down on others and they'll not welcome people in their friend group. And they kind of just live, honestly, I think they live kind of the same boring NPC lives, just staying with the same circle of friends, which is, it's not it's not bad. It's comfortable. It's good. It's just not my cup of tea, I guess.
But is comfort really what we're going after in life?
I think most people are trying to find comfort. I think that combined with, the ever growing inflation here in the city, how dull and gray it is all the time when it rains, all that depression, that seasonal depression, everyone's just trying to find what gives them the most comfort. And so they'll go back to the things that are more familiar to them. Say, for example, if I want to watch something and I don't want to use up too much brain power on something new, then I might play an old show that I've seen like two times. And it might be just in the background too. But it's like, why am I watching this show that I've seen multiple times that I already know, when I could be watching something new? I could be exploring different shows and movies, but it's because I felt comfortable with it. And I realized that too, that I'll side monitor shows that I've already seen because it just feels comfortable to me. And I think that's what a lot of people want at the end of the day. They want a tight group, they want a tight knit group of friends that they feel comfortable with, that they don't feel judged, but at the same time too, they are the ones judging others. It's kind of ironic because everyone I meet in Vancouver who has lived here, they always say the same thing. They're like, "Oh, I'm not that type of person. I don't know why other Vancouverites are so cold." And I'm like, "Wait, then where are these Vancouverites who are actually cold, that actually say it's hard to make friends or they don't make friends?" Because every Vancouverite I meet, they basically are on the side where it's like, yeah, I don't like our city for that. I'm not judgmental like that. But I feel like maybe they are, and they just don't realize it. Like everyone always wants to play the victim. They don't wanna be the one to admit that, oh yeah, I'm the type that doesn't let new people in our friend group, etc., etc. Just no one realizes that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. From your years of making content, which maybe areas, sub areas of Vancouver? I just want to linger in this
Mm.
city because we've mentioned all. It seems to be the theme. Which kind of areas do you like the most? Like from the culture, people that you've interacted with, what stands out?
First and foremost, East Vancouver is the best. Maybe because I was born and raised there. I mean, technically I'm born in Toronto, but I moved to East Vancouver when I was less than 1. So East Vancouver has been my home my whole life. And that could be why I like it so much, due to nostalgia, due to that's where I met most of my friends. That's where I hung out around most of the time. But even now, when I go through East Vancouver, when I drive through it, and even Burnaby, kind of like the Metrotown area, I consider that kind of like East Vancouver. It just has that vibe of growing up, has nostalgia to it, has some local food spots that have just been there for ages. Like, how long has that cinnamon bun place been there at Metrotown for? And the buns are still really good. It's just, I guess I like that sense of nostalgia with it, and the fact that it's simple. It's not doing too much. It's not trying to be different. It's just being its own thing. And I guess I find comfort in that. But when it comes to food spots, yeah, Richmond. Richmond would be the go-to place to try new things. New West, don't really go to New West that often. Surrey, I'll go sometimes, not really. North Van, sometimes, not really. For hikes, usually, that's the case. And then Delta, Abbotsford, and all those places, not really. I want to go Langley more, but I realized, like, what do I even do in Langley? I don't know. And then I like downtown Vancouver. It's cool. It's cool there. The nightlife could be better.
Yeah, I agree with that. And lastly, what do you think is the meaning of life?
Other people. Meaning in life, other people. If you didn't have other people in your life, you wouldn't be doing most of the things that you do. I don't think anyone truly wants to be alone, or people don't want to be lonely. So people will always seek out other people. The things we do is always not just for ourselves, but for other people, whether we admit it or not. And they're the ones that give the meaning to our lives. Yeah.
Darius, it was fantastic speaking to you.
Thank you. I hope the mic didn't hear my stomach rumbling. But yeah, it's fantastic speaking to you too.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.